So from the end of May 2022 through, I guess, almost the end of September of 2022, we were hopping around from RV park to RV park. I packed as if we were only staying in it 3 months, meaning I had no winter clothes, I had no winter shoes, had not even a coat, but also mentally, like not knowing this is not 3 months. This is kind of where we are, and there was no end in sight. Beginning of October, I put my foot down and said, okay, I cannot keep moving. We have to have a home base, which took us to the glorious town of Princeton, Texas. But it was fine because we at least had a fence around our spot. We were there until about the beginning of December, to where I was like, okay, I am about to go crazy. I said, love you, but I have to get out of here. So we're going to my parents in South Texas, and we'll just commute. We'll figure it out. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know it's not going to look like the inside of this RV. So yeah, we did that. The book goes way more in detail to it.
Welcome to today's Heart of the Hustle. I am here with Mary Elizabeth, who's here to talk about all things interior design and RVing. Indeed. I'm so excited to talk about all of it. So tell us a little bit about you.
So interior design, I've owned my own interior design business for 28 years. And I'll tell a little bit about the story of kind of how I knew why. That's kind of my inner bent. When I was 8 years old, I wanted a dollhouse for Christmas, but not just any dollhouse. Wanted to be able to change the walls, move the furniture, that sort of thing. So I did get that. But then I shortly realized that I wanted electricity because I wanted to be able to have chandeliers and lamps and light fixtures that worked with actual light switches. And so my dad did that, gave me electricity in my dollhouse, and that went great for a very short period of time. And then I wanted plumbing because I wanted to be able to fill up the bathtubs and the sinks. And thank goodness that's where my dad drew the line and said, we're not putting plumbing in your dollhouse in your bedroom. So that's kind of how I knew that that's my inner bent and what I actually really do love to do.
I love that. So did you end up going to school for interior design?
I did. I graduated from Texas Tech a few years ago. And yeah, I love it. I love going into a clean slate and starting from scratch, whether it's your house flooded and I hold your hand and I'm kind of your therapist and designer, or you want to redo your floors and let's do what it is that you want to do. And I'm not scared to do anything. Sometimes my contractors that work with me are scared of what I want to do, but they get me, so that's good. So yeah, Brandon and I have been married almost 29 years.
And Brandon has also been on the podcast.
Yes.
And so you can go check out his episode.
Yes. We have 2 children, Colton, 27, and Logan Elizabeth, 23. Colton is just newly married, so that's exciting. And Logan Elizabeth is engaged and getting married this coming March, so that's exciting too. And then all things RV, yeah, my book is coming out very soon. I'm super excited.
Yeah, so tell us why did you write a book about RVing? How did that happen?
Oh, Sherry. Oh. Yeah, so I've never written a book. I don't know anything about writing a book. Now I do. My husband was gently telling people I was going to write a book kind of a little bit towards the end of the RV adventure. And I told him, no, I'm not. But through his gentle nudging and a really good friend of ours, we went to a conference called Creative Con. Shout out to Creative Con. That conference is literally what gave me the nudge, the confidence to say, okay, okay, you're going to do this. So Brandon and I had an opportunity where we thought we were going to move to the East Coast. We'd lived all over the country throughout our marriage, but we had lived in McKinney, Texas for 15 years. Our children were grown. It was great time in our life to empty nest, whatever that looks like.
And he got another job, and so you were going to relocate.
Yeah, we were going to relocate to the East Coast. And
relocating to the East Coast.
Yeah, I didn't even know where Pennsylvania was, Sherry. I mean, no disrespect to the small states, but when you're from Texas, you know above the Mason-Dixon line and below the Mason-Dixon line. So moving above the Mason-Dixon, I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Yeah. So anyway, fast forward, the situation did not work out with the company that hired Brandon. We came back to Texas for Brandon to interview with just people in Houston, in Austin, in San Antonio, in Atlanta, in North Carolina, all these places. And then kind of got to a place of he was going to start his own business. But it was just a crazy time that we couldn't really, quote unquote, settle on a place to where we were going to live. And we knew we didn't want to stay in the McKinney area. We've already been there, done that. We wanted space.
And you had sold your house in McKinney. So
yes.
Now you bought the RV, went east, and were living in the RV full time at this point?
Yes, living in the RV full time at this point. So from the end of May 2022 through, I guess, almost the end of September of 2022, we were hopping around from RV park to RV park. We did have moments we went on vacations without the RV, but still, we were still coming home no matter what to the RV. I packed as if we were only staying in it 3 months, meaning I had no winter clothes. I had no winter shoes, had not even a coat, which may sound like not a big deal to people, but kind of is. I like to dress for the occasion, whatever, but also mentally, like not knowing this is not 3 months. This is kind of where we are. And there was no end in sight. Beginning of October, I put my foot down and said, okay, I cannot keep moving. We have to have a home base, which took us to the glorious town of Princeton, Texas. But it was fine because...
Which was just named like the fastest growing town in the U.S. or something.
Which is crazy. Yeah. But we saw evidence of that when we lived there. And we at least had a fence around our spot. We were there until about the beginning of December to where I was like, okay, I am about to go crazy because Brandon's networking. I didn't really have an opportunity to relaunch my business just because I didn't have any of my things. So I said, love you, but I have to get out of here. So we're going to my parents in South Texas and we'll just commute. We'll figure it out. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know it's not going to look like the inside of this RV. So, yeah, we did that. The book goes way more in detail to it, but it was a time period of 17 months of we had absolutely no idea where we were going to live. And it was hard. It was really hard.
Because these RVs, I was going to say these days, but RVs are really beautiful and bougie, and you go into them and you're like, wow, this is gorgeous. I could live in here. But then you go and actually live in there.
Right.
Those walls have to close in pretty quickly.
There's no privacy. There's no soundproofing. There's space above the door and space below the door. And I was excited because we had 2 bathrooms. I'm like, oh, yeah, that is bougie, but yeah, it's really not. It's not as bougie as it sounds. And the closets are non-existent. And the drawers, you're not fixing to stuff things in the drawer. No, it will break. Yeah, it will literally break. And I'm a designer. I mean, I redid all the window treatments. I recovered all the things. It doesn't matter. I mean, it just literally gets to a point where the walls were closing in and we had no home to come back to. And a lot of people that do RV, they choose this because they do have a home to come back to. And I get it. It's fun. It's a great vacation replacement. But when you have no home to come back to, it's a very different reality.
Yeah. 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 So what would you tell people who are thinking about doing full-time RVing? What are the biggest pros and the biggest cons?
So I would first say, do you have a home to go back to? And if you tell me you don't, I would really sit down with you and talk to you about the reality of it. The biggest pros is you don't have that much space. So the biggest pro is you can't really have that much stuff. Another pro is you don't have all the things to take care of that you do in a normal home. Now, there's always something to take care of because I don't care how bougie your RV is, something's always going to break. Cons are the space. Who are you doing it with? I love my husband dearly. We had to really learn how to be together in a small space, but also find your alone time sitting right next to each other because you're not fixing to escape. You can't just like go in the other room. Like you can't just like go pout because you're mad about whatever trivial thing. No, you're still right there.
Yeah.
So it's cons are you don't have space. You go outside and you're immediately hit with like, oh, this is real. This is real life. I didn't just like dream it. Another pro is when you replace the mattress, because the RV mattresses that come with it are junk, literal junk. So we got the best mattress ever, but you're literally getting in bed and like, that's it. Like you're not fixing to like get out of bed and like go do this and go. No, because there's no space. So con, again, no space. Pro is you can have a washing machine and dryer. Con is it's tiny. It's tiny. You're washing like a pair of socks and shorts and maybe a t-shirt. So
And there's like water maintenance with an RV. There's like, having to hook up to something and then having to empty tanks and all that.
It's a lot. And also I would say, are you handy? Because if you're not handy, you're in for a world of learning opportunities. Because in the world of RV University, if you didn't learn the lesson the first time, you're definitely going to get an opportunity to learn it the second time. I can promise you that.
That's really good advice because Billy, my husband, and I have talked about doing it right at some point, and he's not very handy at all. So Brandon's an engineer, so he's very handy, and I'm pretty handy too. I learned out just how handy I was. Didn't really go into it thinking about that, but yeah, I mean it's a learning curve, and we'd never owned an RV. Like this was like. First, we're just going to go big. Buy the 40-foot RV, knew nothing. I mean, crazy. And just learning how to drive that thing. I mean, I don't know if that was you or Brandon, but man, driving those things is tough.
It was Brandon 100% of the time. I mean, we literally left the RV dealership in Fort Worth to drive to our house in McKinney. Oh, I was soaking in sweat. And I wasn't even the one driving it, but I was so stressed out thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to die. We're literally going to die. And this is how. Like, no, please God, like just protect us, keep us safe.
Pull behind kind of trailer, pop up kind of things. I don't think I told you this. I renovated a 1972 Shasta RV and I made it into a photo booth.
Love.
And we renovated it by driving across the country. So I got it. We had it painted here by someone we knew. So I painted it bright turquoise. And then we drove it up to Detroit because my husband's dad was very handy. And so he helped us, like the floor needed to be redone. And
I love it.
We stayed there for a couple of weeks and helped renovate it. Then I drove it to the East Coast and I had weddings that I was shooting there. So I was photographing the weddings and had it there as a photo booth. So somebody was inside taking pictures and I had the printer it was a really, really fun business, but it is a whole other thing to drive a trailer. And that was a little tiny, very lightweight trailer, right? I can't even imagine like a big
Yeah, but you're still having to, in your head, think of like when you're backing up, it's opposite. And that whole, I didn't even want to learn because I figured if I didn't even know, then I would never have to drive it. So that worked.
So that had to put a real strain on your marriage because you've been together. I mean, you guys have been together since college, right? So you've been together for 20.
Well, we've known each other a little over 31 years. Yeah. So again, we went into a situation that we were kind of misled, and we both had our different reasons for being mad. We weren't necessarily mad at each other. We were mad at the situation. We were both just the convenient parties that were there.
That happens all the time in marriage, doesn't it? Right? Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation, but you're the closest one to me. And so you're going to hear the wrath.
Yeah, exactly. No, we came, I guess it was towards the end of August, and we were actually about to go see our daughter because we were headed to Arkansas to stay for 2 weeks. And like, I don't know what tipped the iceberg. I don't even remember, but I was like, okay, we need counseling. We need like a neutral party to literally help us talk, like to get us to a point to where we dealt with all the junk and then got over the hump to where we were healthy in the way that we were speaking back and forth. And truly, if you don't take care of that in a marriage, which happens all the time, it just builds and it builds and it builds. And then it comes to a point where you're just complacent. And we're both very type A, so we're both very strong-headed, hard-headed. So, I mean, that can be very volatile when not taken care of. So, best decision we'd ever made. We have done marriage counseling in the past, and it is not an admission of failure. It is the best decision you can make on the most sacred decision that you make. So...
Absolutely, because we all need help, right? I mean, whether it's in your marriage or in your business, right? I'm a business coach. People come to me all the time and they're like, how do I do this, right? And that's not failure. That's setting yourself up for success.
Yes. I mean, if I have any one message to a married couple is invest the time in the most sacred relationship that you've entered into. Why wouldn't you? Why would you just let it go because of probably a misunderstanding or something that you just didn't address because you're too scared to, or it's uncomfortable, or you just don't want to deal with the situation. So what were some of the coolest places that you saw or went to? I saw some pictures the other day of you guys by a lake, and it looks idyllic, right on. I know it was a challenging time, but what are some of the favorite things that you? So one of the most beautiful is definitely Ouray, Colorado. They call it the Switzerland of America. I can see why. I was an exchange student in Switzerland when I was in high school, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. The mountains and just the colors of the mountains. And we were there in summer. We were super lucky that we got a spot in Ouray, and our RV was able to back up to the river. And so we could hear the river when we woke up. I could do yoga on the back porch with the river running behind me. And that was really, really cool. And we also have a UTV that we put in the back of the RV because it was a fifth wheel toy hauler. And this was the first place that we were actually able to truly go, climb the mountains in it or whatever. Beautiful, but it's the scariest probably I've ever been because Brandon's like, oh, this thing can basically crawl up the side of a mountain on two wheels. And I mean, when we got down, I said, okay, we're going to agree that you can be part of the Fast and Furious Club in this UTV, but I'm not. No, I do not want to experience that again.
He is fearless.
Yeah, he is fearless. He's adrenaline-driven junkie.
That's awesome. So Colorado, any other
Yeah,
places?
Colorado. Yeah, upstate New York. I mean, a lot of people think that it's just Manhattan. I mean, Manhattan is literally just like an itty bitty portion of New York. And we were up in Wilmington. He did a race in, what is the lake up there?
Erie, I think, is in Pennsylvania. Lake George?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, gorgeous. I mean, the rivers and the scenery, absolutely beautiful. There's parts of Ohio that are beautiful. Kentucky has some absolutely gorgeous just landscape. I mean, the grass is like fake. It's so pretty. So pretty.
I think is really beautiful.
We didn't like go to, I mean, I've been to Tennessee, but we didn't really drive that much through Tennessee. But literally Ohio has some really pretty areas to it. So, I mean, each had their own uniqueness to it. But yeah, I mean, we're both partial to Colorado because we both love Colorado. But I mean, there's also some really beautiful areas that you wouldn't think about.
So was writing the book cathartic for you? Or what was the process of writing the book like for you, using it as an opportunity to reflect on this time?
So thank goodness I journal. So I start the day every morning just journaling and in my Bible. And that helped me to go back because you think you're going to remember, but you don't remember all the details and credit card statements. Literally credit card statements, because I could remember exactly the name of the RV park we were or exactly the name of the restaurant, that we went to. So thank goodness I had those. Writing the book was therapeutic. It was also hard. And without my editor, I would not have dug as deep as I did, because there are some parts that I was like, oh, we'll talk about that, but maybe we'll just kind of sweep that under the rug. And she did an excellent job of very caringly just, Mary Elizabeth, let's help your reader understand like where you're coming from and what exactly you're talking about, if that makes sense. So, I mean, it was a journey. It was a journey for sure. And there was times when I was writing and I'm like, oh my God, like, am I ever and I had to mentally tell myself, Mary Elizabeth, this is a journey. Don't worry about the finish line. This is a journey. So
how long did you spend writing the book?
So I started February of 2024, hired my editor in July of last year. And then our goal was to have it finished-ish by Thanksgiving, which we did. And then I hired my publishing company beginning of January of this year. And we had that final version. It went through 15 revisions. It's a whole process, but end of January. And so from there, we've just tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. And then also I let my mom and dad, Brandon, and my children read it. Just there's things about them, very personal things. And I wanted to they're okay. And also make sure I got dates and timelines correct.
So what advice would you give to people who are in that writing process and want to give up? Because I hear that from every author. There's a point at which you're like, why the heck am I even doing this?
Make a goal. Make a goal. Give yourself a deadline and give yourself short goals throughout the process. And don't be so worried about the finish line. I mean, tell yourself there is going to be a finish line, yes, but don't be so worried about the finish line that you jeopardize the meat of the story. And know that everybody has a story to tell, and there's a reason why you started the writing process. And so remember that.
What was your reason for starting the writing process?
Oh, man, probably Brandon just not giving up, telling people that I'm going to write a book. And I'm thinking, no, I don't ever want to relive that time in my life again. I did that. We're done. What are you doing? And just knowing too that I kept hearing this voice. This message needs to be told. People need to know that you go through hard times in life and it's okay. You're going to survive, but reach out to other people. That's what makes life beautiful, is having people around us that have traversed different things in life.
Love that. Tactically, what advice would you give to people who are writing a book? It's you mentioned your editor was incredibly important. What advice would you give as far as the process goes?
Hire an editor, please.
And from the beginning, because sometimes people think an editor just comes in at the end, but they really helped structure the whole thing.
I mean, Sherry, I didn't even know about chapters. I mean, yes, I've written a lot. Read a lot of books, but I was like, Blair, I don't even know like how to separate it into chapters. Oh, we have to have a title to every chapter. AI is great. I will say that AI is great, and you can put it in Word, you can put it whatever writing, and AI does great corrections, but AI does not capture you, and it does not capture your how you want to emphasize certain things. So please don't just rely on that. That's where an editor can come in. And it's super important to hire the right editor for you, because not every editor is going to get you, and you're not going to, you have to vibe with them. I think that's super, super important. And they also kind of help keep you on track. An editor does, because they have a life. And so they have to say, okay, we're going to have this done by this. And then whenever I send it back to you, then you got to go in. And so it kind of keeps you on point. Like, I'm accountable to someone else, and I don't want to inconvenience someone else. And hiring a publishing company, yes, you can self-publish. For me, I knew nothing. There is a lot involved in publishing a book, a lot. Stuff I would have never dreamed. Copyrights, how you put the copyrights into proper format. There's a lot involved.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, too, where you can learn how to do it. Does that make sense for your time, right? Especially a book. I think there's people, even if you're writing a lot of books and you're plan to write a lot of books in your life, right. For many people, it's just, one or two to spend the time learning all of that. It's not worth it, right? Take that time and use your superpowers to earn some money to pay for the editor, right? Yes. But yeah.
You just hit on a big point. We can be good at a lot of things, but we're not great at everything. Learn what you're great at and source out the rest. And that's what makes you a better person, because our time is valuable. If we spend time doing all the things, we're not spending time on the things that we love to do and that are going to give us the most reward out of, kind of what we're meant to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when does the book come out?
It's mid-September.
And now we're recording in 2025. So
yes. Yeah. We're about 2 months out.
And there's a cover.
Yes, there's a cover. Okay. I'm currently in the process of sending it to people for reviews, because we're going to put reviews in the book. There's a Spotify playlist. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm so ready. It's been a journey, but it's been a really fun journey.
Well, we're so excited to read it. And if people want to talk to you about your book, RVing, interior design, all the things, where can they find you?
So I have a website, and it's my full name, MaryElizabethDenmon.com, and I'll give you all that. I've got Facebook, same, Mary Elizabeth Denmon on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, same, Mary Elizabeth Denmon on Instagram. But yeah, so I've got a website also for my business, which is emmydesignsllc.org. And they can sign up for my newsletter on my website. You'll get emails. You'll be updated when my book signings are, when exactly the book's coming out. And you can also go on the website to buy the book. The book will be on Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on Heart of the Hustle. Have one little question for you. Tell me, what is your heart of your hustle?
Oh, it's a good question. Thank you for that. It is helping people to find their voices who maybe just didn't come out of the womb, knowing how to talk, or because we all have a gift to share with other people.
Yes.
But so many of us feel like total dorks when we start to figure out how to present that to other people, right? Especially in their marketing, especially in their businesses. And so for me, it's helping them to find a way to be comfortable, confident, and have clarity that what they're doing is actually gonna move the needle. Because I feel like a dork all the time. I have felt like a dork from the moment I came out of the womb. And I am fortunate that I have had lots of training that lets me do this very easily. But if I can pass a little bit about on to somebody else so that they can bring their superpower to the world, then that's what drives me, and that's the heart of my hustle.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, this is great. I loved it. Thank you.